Hello and welcome to the 124th episode of the Brian Hornback Experience. This episode is going to kind of get you caught up on partisan politic reorganizations. February 18th, as you know, BrianHornback.com had a lot of coverage on the Knox County Republican Party Reorganization as we had the build up to that. The convention was not lost on drama, but in the end, Buddy Burkhart beat Keith Lyon fairly convincingly to become the next chairman. Janice Cry bested Sherry Garrett, a former school board candidate from out in Halls and Powell, to be vice chair. A really close race for treasurer, like 6 to 9 votes difference between Kevin Teeters, an assistant district attorney, and Martin Ammons. Ammons won that with 6 to 9 vote margin. Vice chair was between the current vice chair, the vice chair that got appointed about 6 months after the reorganization because Steve Weiner had been elected vice chair 2 years ago. He stepped down because he thought he wanted to run for judge, but then he ended up running for county commission. So the executive committee appointed Christy Gentry. And so she was the current vice chair. And then she was challenged by now former secretary Rob Gray. Christy Gentry won that race. So she has the spot as voted by the membership of the Knox County Republican Party. And then secretary was between Jeremy Coffey, who's been active for the last number of years in the party, helping candidates, helped Wesley Stone, he helped Will Edwards, a few others. And so Jeremy got more votes than Gary Lowe. Gary Lowe had been secretary I guess the last time Buddy Burkhart was chair, but he did not seek it when Daniel Herrera became chair. So Gary Lowe challenged it. So the good news is the Republican Party has enough candidates that no one ran unopposed. So the membership of the Knox County Republican Party had a choice. And it really came down to some folks who have been in the party, have worked in the party for a number of years, versus some people that have gotten active because of the mask mandate or the vaccines, end of the day, the ones that were being supported by the folks who've been active for a number of years, it seemed like those folks are the ones that were backing Buddy. And then Buddy has continued over the last couple of weeks to go to Republican clubs. I know he's been to the Three Rivers Republican Club. I know he's been to the Concord Farragut Republican Club. He spoke. He's speaking this week at the Halls Republican Club. So anyway, I know he's been around, making the rounds. Carnes Republican Club, I was there at that one. This past week. So he's making the rounds talking about returning us back to the people that built the party and returning some calm and that kind of thing. So, so the party's going in a different direction than it's been in the last 4 years, the 2 years with Herrera and 2 years with Randy Pace. So, good, bad, or indifferent, that's what's happening. So you can read all about that on BrianHornback.com. Also, last Saturday, the Loudon County Republican Party, they too had their reorganization, and it wasn't without drama. You had some folks who've been active in a couple of clubs, a Tellico Village Conservative Club and also a Cross County Patriots Club. They had a slate of candidates that they were wanting to put in. All but one of their candidates did not meet the bona fide standards. And so they weren't able to be voted on. But it didn't leave it left some races unopposed, but there was still a race or two where there was some opposition. Rick Dram, who has been the leader of the Tellico Conservative Club, was a candidate for vice chair. He lost by 2 votes to Larry Jameson. Larry Jameson is now the vice chair of the Loudon County Republican Party. And Kelly Brewster has come back now to lead the party as chair. She served, except for the last 4 years, she served a term or 2 as chair before that. So anyway, there's more counties continuing to reorganize. For some reason, there was none today. I don't know what's so special about March the 11th, but there was none on the calendar today. So I don't know if that's everybody getting prepped for daylight savings time or what, but that kind of gets you caught up on that. And then the Democrats will be reorganizing, and they'll be reorganizing now in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be sharing that information on brianhornback.com as well. Man, things are starting to heat up a little bit with the city elections of 2003, but then it looks like 2024 is going to be heating up here pretty soon as well. The people are starting to make plans to make their announcements. Jackie Raley, the chief deputy to John Whitehead, the property assessor, has announced her campaign kickoff. It's going to be on the 29th of March at Calhoun's on the River. At least one other person has announced their intent to challenge her, and it's somebody who's been property assessor before. So we'll see as we get closer. That primary is going to be, what's going to happen is the city elections, the primary is going to happen on August the 29th, and then the general will happen in November. And then, by the time that the general turns around in November, we're going to be hot and heavy into the county and the presidential primary, because every 4 years when we have the presidential primary, and Tennessee participates in Super Tuesday, we go ahead and run our county, what would normally be the first Tuesday in May. We run that with the presidential primary. So that's going to be in like March. I've got the date somewhere. So that's good. So we're going to be in the hot and heavy in the 2024 campaign by the time we finally get around to seeing the last of 2023. So that it's March the 5th of 2024 is election day. So coming up a week from Monday, on March the 20th, is the first day that candidates for the city elections can pick up a petition. Qualifying deadline is noon on May the 18th. So we'll know on May the 18th all the candidates that are running for mayor, the A, B, and C of the city council at large, and city council 5th district, and municipal judge. Judge Rosin is running again. Any lawyer in town that would think of opposing Judge Rosin, I just don't see it. Charles Thomas is the city councilman in the 5th district. That's kind of like Fountain City over into maybe Holston Hills. In the district, you can vote. Only the people in the district can vote, but then in the general election, the whole city votes for one out of that district. And then City Council A, B, and C. In A, you have Lynn Fugit, and she's up against a former Democrat chair. In B, it appears Janet Testerman, although she's not officially announced, is probably not going to run for re-election, although she hasn't officially announced that. Debbie Helsley, who had come in second, was the Democrat that came in, who challenged Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs last year. She's running for that seat. No other opponent that I'm aware of has lined up for that seat yet. And then in City Council at Large C is Amelia Parker. Now, Amelia Parker has an opponent, more than likely from the right, in Tim Hill. Tim Hill is partner of Hatcher Hill, a real estate development and he's the chairman of the Metropolitan Planning Commission, and has already raised a considerable amount of money. But then you also have Matthew Best. Matthew Best has been active in Democrat politics. He managed Dr. John Butler's campaign for city council, and so that's an interesting race where you've already got 3 candidates lined up. Then you got the mayor's race. India Kincannon is obviously running for re-election. Constance Every, who had ran and came in third or fourth for governor of Tennessee, has already announced, even here on the Brian Hornback podcast, that if India Kincannon did not have an opponent, that she would run. And at this last city council meeting that happened this past week, Constance spoke at Public Forum about some of the issues: Anthony Thompson Jr., Lisa Edwards, some other deaths that have been involved with KPD, and she said she's running for mayor. So she confirmed that this week at City Council. So I'll be getting her back on the podcast to talk about the City Council race. If all candidates are invited to come on the podcast, not all at the same time, but so I'll be extending an invitation to Constance. I'll be extending an invitation to India and anyone else. Also this week at the Carnes Republican Club, Kerry Williams, who has filed a treasure. He spoke at the Carnes Republican Club. That video is on brianhornback.com and on the YouTube page of brianhornback.com. So go to brianhornback.com. You can find it's not too far down the list because it happened this week. But you can find that video about Kerry Williams. But, it's every time you think you're going to have a break between elections, you just don't get much of a break. So the legislature is dealing with a lot of controversial social issues. It's partisan politics. It's partisan politics at its worst. You got the Democrats talking about the fact that yes, the Department of Children's Services has said that they have children sleeping in the floors of Knoxville offices, in the floors of other state offices, because they don't have foster homes for these children. And you got some issues of infrastructure. You got issues of health care, providing health care to those that are in Tennessee that need health care. But the legislature has been interested in issues like drag shows. And so that has kind of cultivated the discussion. The Tennessee Holler, which is Justin Canoe, I was going to say he's kind of like brianhornback.com, but he's far exceeded brianhornback.com because he has the time and the resources to go to the Capitol every day. He's in Nashville, and so he's able to take his recorder and he's able to confront the legislators as they're walking from committee rooms to session. But he confronted the governor over a picture that was in a yearbook where the governor was dressed as a woman. He's found some Instagram likes by the lieutenant governor. Both of those issues started at the Holler and made it into Nashville media and then made it into national media. NBC National News this week talked about the lieutenant governor situation. So again, I haven't been to a drag show. I haven't taken my children to a drag show. But at some point in the Republican philosophy that I subscribed to 40 years ago, we believed in smaller government, we believed in low taxation, and we believed in leaving people alone. And that's been a little bit different, but you know what? I'm not elected to be in the legislature, so I'm going to leave that up to the legislators. But, that's kind of where I'm at on the issue at this point. It's, I'm sure they feel like they're doing it for the right reasons, to protect the children, and I'll leave it at that. I'll take them at their word on that until I can find or prove otherwise. But the holler's still working on it. I saw this morning, this is Saturday, March the 11th. I saw this morning that the holler has, I guess, some emails from the group that they say is leading these bills. So there'll be some continued news coverage coming out of that. I anticipate later today, or on the 125th episode, having someone who's going to announce their candidacy for county commission in 2024. So as I said, we are gearing up rather quickly for 2024. City Council will get attention because we have to give City Council attention, but 2024 is going to be pretty hot and heavy as well. In 2024, let's just talk about that real quick. You'll have obviously the Republican primary, the Republican and Democrat candidates for president. Still not 100% sure who that's going to be. We suspect Donald Trump. We suspect Nikki Haley. They both announced. And then Biden and whoever else runs on the Democrat, and then whoever else joins in the Republican, whether it be Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence, Pompeo. Numerous names are surfacing. I'll try to do a podcast just talking about the nominees. We're going to vote on delegates to both the delegates at large to the Republican National Convention, which is supposed to be in Wisconsin at this point, and then also delegates for the 2nd Congressional District for the Republicans. Then in County Commission, we got 7 races that are up for grabs. In District 1, Dr. Daisha Lundy. No official word on if she's running for re-election or not. District 2 is Commission Chair Courtney Durrett. I anticipate that Madam Chair Durrett will run for re-election. No word on a challenger for her yet. County Commission District 4, that's Kyle Ward. He's already announced that he's not running, and I suspect that we'll see both candidates from the Republican and Democrat side on that one. In District 5, John Schoonmaker is term limited, so he is not eligible to run. No official word on candidates in that seat. County Commission District 6, that's the Commission Vice Chair, Terry Hill. Not sure that she'll be opposed, and if somebody did oppose her, it's going to be an uphill battle for sure. County Commission District 8, Richie Beeler, he's term limited and he's not running for re-election. I've heard the name of DJ Corcoran, which is the brother of Knox County Clerk Sherry Witt, and he is a former press spokesman for Knoxville Fire Department. He's retired from that position. And then in County Commission District 9, Carson Daly is unopposed. Not unopposed. He is term limited, so there's that seat will be up. Assessor Property, we've already talked about Jackie Raley. County Law Director, I suspect David Book, who's eligible to run for another term, will run for another term, but no official word on that yet. Then the other 4 races on the ballot are School Board District 2, that's Jennifer Owen. District 3, that's Daniel Watson. District 5 is Susan Horn, and Susan Horn announced at the last Concord Farragut Republican Club that she is not running for re-election. She's going to term limit herself. And then in County School Board District 8, that's Mike McMillan. I'm sure he's not going to term limit himself because he never has. And I'm not sure how his health is holding up. He missed, let's see, today, this is March. So he missed both February's work session and the voting session in February due to illness. So not sure what the status is out at District 8. In District 5, Susan Horn said that she was going to be interviewing some candidates. What you need to know about the school board is it is partisan, just as the county commission is partisan, just as the property assessor is partisan, just as the law director is partisan. So anyone who wants to run on the Republican ballot has to be vetted by the county executive committee, or particularly by the chairman. So they need to have voted in 3 out of 4 of the last state and federal Republican primaries. That's August of 2022, August of 2020, March of 2020, and August of 2018. They need to have voted in 3 of those 4 Republican primaries, and they need to be active Republicans. So that could be difficult to find in districts 2 and 3. Should not be difficult to find in 5 and 8. Could be difficult to find in District 1 and 2 in the County Commission. I don't think it's going to be difficult to find one in District 4. However, District 4 School Board, Will Edwards, the Republican nominee, barely lost that race to Democrat Catherine Bike, I guess last year. And so that district could be tough for the Republicans, but I'm sure that Buddy Burkhart, the County Executive Committee, and the Republicans will work hard. So October 16th is the first day to pick up a nominating petition for these positions. So it's going to happen right while we're in the middle of early voting in the 2023 race. So again, there's going to be overlap between 2023 City Council elections and the county 2024, October 16th. And then the filing deadline for 2024 is December the 14th at noon. So keep all that in mind. I hope this was a good recap of partisan reorganization. Blount County's coming up, and there's a few more that are coming up. I did go to Loudon. I did go to Knox. I'm planning to go to Anderson County reorg. No, I don't think there's going to be any controversy there. I am planning to go to Blount County, and as soon as I look at the other dates that are still pending, we've got about, across the state, there's 95 counties, obviously. Across the state, we've already reorganized almost half of them, like little more than 50 of them, according to the email I got from Chairman Scott Golden, our Tennessee Republican Party chairman. So we'll continue. I'll continue to monitor that. I'll get to the ones. If you're in a county and you'd like me to come, send me an email, send me a text. All my contacts are out there. But let me know. But I am planning to attend Anderson. I am planning to attend Blount. So I'll see you there if you're in either of those 2 counties and if you're there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this 124th episode of the Brian Hornback Experience. Just trying to bring you up to date. Again, anticipate later today recording a podcast with a candidate for 2024. So any of you candidates that are running in 2023 or 2024, you're welcome to contact me by email or cell phone or any of my social media direct apps. Let me know that you're ready to do a podcast interview, and I'll get you scheduled and we'll get it done. But other than that, I appreciate you tuning in to the Brian Hornback Experience. And again, check me out at brianhornback.com on the web and on most all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. So you can find me in most places. And if you have to, you spell out Brian Hornback, DOTCOM, brianhornback.com, particularly on Instagram. On Twitter, it's shock and awe, shock and then the line, the underscore line, awe, AWE, shock, SHOCKAND, underscore awe, AWE. Well, hey, that's for my state executive committee. It's just Brian Horn. It's Mega Bullhorn on Twitter. So anyway, see, even I get messed up on it. But anyway, just search it, put it in the search box, brianhornback.com, you'll find it. But with that, we're going to end this one, and y'all have a great Saturday. And don't forget to set your clocks forward for daylight savings time. And let's hope the legislature can make daylight savings time permanent. All right, y'all tune in again.